I want to welcome you to this session of our marketing system, creating attributes and groups. We have been talking about attributes for the past couple of weeks. This one, we're going deeper into it. In our last session, we talked about collecting product images, resizing your images, and planning out your attributes, which are your options, and creating the attributes or your options. This week, I want to talk more about your attributes before we upload them into the system. Your attributes are going to be how your customer will select all of the options. And the more concise you are with your options, the easier it's going to be for them to place their order. Now, and ease is what it's all about. The easier you can make it for them, the more orders you're going to get. And there's a lot of thought that must go into this order to make it simple. Now, keeping it simple is not easy for us trying to create these, but it is a must. Now, in tonight's session, I'm going to cover how to create an attribute spreadsheet, how to configure your page for adding your attribute images, and actually upload your attributes into the system. And then we're going to add your attribute images. I have most of my product sheets completed now. I'm still collecting product images, but before I go any farther, I want to show you how to add your attributes. And all of your attributes must be added before you actually start adding any type of products. Now, I decided to create a spreadsheet of my attributes and the type of products that I'm going to be offering. And this way I can make sure that I have the right attributes for each one of the products. And after we create our attributes, we have to add all of the ones that are applicable to a certain group of product into a group. Okay? This is called an attribute set. We will then be selecting the right attribute set or group of attributes each time you add a product. And that's going to make it easier for you to upload the product and easy for the customer to select the options that he needs to place his order. And I know that this is a lot of work, but it's going to really pay off in the end when it is finished. And it's going to be a huge time saver and a great way to avoid making mistakes as you are uploading your products. I know before when we were doing this, when I was covering this the last time before we had to stop because of our hosting problem, I'd upload an image and then I would discover, uh-oh, I should have added this or I should have added that. Then I have to go back and delete my attribute and start again, and I thought, I'm not going to go through that this time. So I created this spreadsheet, and it's just keeping everything a lot more organized. And it took me quite a bit of time to do this, but I spent more time in thinking about it than I actually did in creating it. And like I said, it's just going to make it so much easier and easier to collect all of my pieces, shall we say, and put them into the right set. And I'm going to be able to create the right attribute set for my product types without any hassles. And here is an attribute set that I created for the men's, the women's, the youth, for their golf shirts, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and jackets. We have to select colors, size, type of design, text-only lettering layout, that is how the design is going to be laid out. I will have to have a block area for them to add the text or the design number. And then they can select a text name, such as the first and last name if they want to. That will be optional. And then they'll have to have a block area to be able to add those names. And then they have to let us know where the design location is going to be, what the font style is, and the embroidery thread color. So all of those attributes are necessary for the men's, women's, and youth golf shirts, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and jackets. Now the attributes for dress shirts are just a little different. I'm going to need the size, the type of design, the text-only lettering layout if they're going to only have text rather than a custom design, the block area for the text, the design location for dress shirts, and the design location for dress shirts are different than they are for t-shirts, golf shirts, that type of thing. And then they're going to need the font style and the embroidery thread colors. Now the attributes for blankets will be the size. No, it's not going to be the size. I made a mistake on that. It's going to be just color, not size. It's going to be the color of the blanket. But they're going to select the type of the design, the text-only lettering layout if they want just lettering, a block area for the text or design number, the text names if they want a name, and the block area for the names, the font style, and the thread color. So each one of these are just slightly different. So these are all things that you have to look out for because, and like I said, I put a lot of thought into this. I'm going to be sharing my spreadsheet with you, exactly how I have it laid out for each one of my different types of products, and then you can go through that yourself and figure out what attributes you're going to need for your different types of products. But I thought that this would be easier for you so that you wouldn't have to go through that hassle and all of the thought that I had to put into it in order to create it. I mean, you're still going to have to put a lot of thought into it, but at least this way it's going to guide you and make it a little bit easier for you. Now, one of my attributes, which is type of design, has a custom option. And I do not have anything for that as of yet, and George is testing out one of the options on the Attributes Properties page in the Catalog Input section called Media Image. And this is for uploading information, so I'm hoping that this is exactly what we're going to be needing for the customer to upload a custom design. And I'll have all that information for you by next week. But he wants to test this out a little bit more to make sure that everything is okay on it before we actually put that into our system. Now, I told you that you need images for each one of your attribute types, and by that I mean each one of your lettering options or your monogram options. And for the example that I'm going to show you tonight, I am uploading my lettering design layout options, and I'm also going to add some of my monogram options. Now, actually, I already uploaded the design lettering layout options, and I created a video on that already so that you will have that. But I'm going to upload some of my monogram options tonight, and I'm going to set that up, that whole sheet up, so that you can see exactly how you do it. And then I'm going to show you how to add the image to it. Now this is the list of attributes that I created. These are my categories. These are the types of products. And these are the attributes that are required for each one of these products. Each one of these are attribute names, okay? Each one of these. And I do not have all of them down here yet, but I've got a good percentage. But I wanted to show you how I had these all laid out before we go into the system. And Like I said, I'm going to be sharing this with you so that you can have this and copy this for yourself. Now, this type of design is going to be a drop-down where they will select whether it's a custom design, a stock design, a text-only lettering layout, or a monogram. If it's text-only lettering layout, which is my design layout, then they will have the choice of any one of these styles. In this column here, I have whether or not we have images or need images for them, and whether or not they are done. Now I have the images for all of these, and I have the images for all of these. I do not need any images for these. This will strictly be a drop-down. And the block area for your text or your design number, that is going to be a text area where we will be inputting this information. And I don't need any images for that. The text names, I have these different choices, and I will need images for those. The block area for names, I won't need images. All I need is a block for them to be able to input their text. So forth and so on, going all the way down. And before I'm finished here, I will have every single one of my attributes on here, and every single one of the options within those attributes. And these are all of the ones that I have. And these are all my monogram styles. Now these three I don't even have yet. I decided that I would add these three, and what they're for is, this is for a name only. If they want like a name on a towel, it's going to be different than what it is for the names up here, because these are going to be small, like left chest names. These will be large, like 2-inch names. Okay, so that's totally different. And this will be if it's a first and last name, so that'll be another style number. And this will be like names and dates for on a blanket or on a handkerchief, either one. And it'll be sized accordingly. And this is my dress shirt monogram styles, the children's fonts, baby designs, and then our thread colors. That is going to be a drop down, but we're going to attach a sheet with all the thread colors on the sheet. I showed you before how to create one of those, and that is going to be like a pop-up where they will just be able to see the thread colors. And trust me, I don't know how that's going to happen yet, but George says it's going to, and I will have that information probably by next week also. So he's going to show me how to do that. And then the stock designs that I have so far, I've only got 36, and that's all that I have right now, and I'll have more in time, but right now that's what I've got. And I need images for all of those. Now, another thing that I did here, my monogram styles, I am starting at 1, just the number 1 style.